Welcome back to Personal Productivity Using Technology. And at this point, we are at Excel Chapter 3 in our book, Exploring Microsoft Office 2013 with Dr. X. So we have looked at some cool ways of visualizing our data with charts. We looked at different types of charts and at a couple of the basic features of charts. We've looked also at how to move around a chart, and we'll see more into this. And now we're gonna look how we can change a little bit our chart, and we have looked at layouts, how we can print, insert a sparkline, and format specific chart elements. So here we are in the spreadsheet that we downloaded from Blackboard course documents, Excel. And what we have done so far was we did fool around with this chart and changed it a little bit and looked at the different options. As you can see, I just now made it a little larger so that I can see my very nice labels in a non-diagonal but in a normal horizontal view. And now we're gonna look at the different styles that we've got. So we can change the color coding of our charts, and and again, this depends on the application. For example, a monochrome may not be very good for all of these multiple columns that we've got, but this color number 4, for example, shows really nicely what's happening with our chart. And as you can see, the chart is updated. Now we can also use some different layouts. Okay, different layouts are used for different purposes. Like, for example, if we had a little bit fewer data, we could use the layout number 2 that has labels outside the bars, the bars of our column chart. But if we would like to add labels specifically for some specific parts of our chart, we can always use the chart tools. So in this case, we could use the tools that are right next to us, and let's say we want to have data labels. So adding data labels is easy breezy for a specific week. Let's say week number 2, I want to add data labels for that, but it wouldn't be really good to add the data labels for every single week that I've got because I have far too many data and the labels are going to overlap. There are other great features in the chart elements that I can add. I can add axis titles, and that's a wonderful feature for which I can give a title to my x-axis and a title to my y-axis. I can do this by double-clicking the axis title or just going to the formula bar and typing weekly rentals for the x-axis, and then for the y-axis, clicking on the axis title, genre, movie genre. I can even modify by clicking on the axis title. Same thing, just different ways of doing things. I can add even more things, a chart title, and the preview is fantastic, as you can see. I even have additional options with this arrow menu that appears right next to the chart elements. So the axis titles, for example, I can get rid of the horizontal axis title. I can use even more options to fill the axis titles with a solid feel of, I don't know, green. close. And I could do the same for my axis title, more options, and I could fill the vertical value axis. With a different color. So I don't like that. I'm gonna undo that. So there's far too many options. As you can see, you can use these different menus and go for more options for your data labels, for example. I mean, it's crazy how many options you can have. So as you can see, these are really cool. They look like cartoon data labels. I mean, you can have them in the inside, but of course you don't want to overclutter your chart. Okay, and now another way of modifying things would be right-clicking on a specific component and then formatting this axis title. Okay, because I couldn't find it in these more options, so I just right-clicked on the specific button that I wanted to modify. So all of these cool options available for you, right click, do not forget about it, because it gives you different nice ways of modifying your charts. Like, let's say I want to change this to the series week, to the feel of this, to purple, for example, and here I go. I did it just with right click, just with bringing out this specific menu. Always go to format and go to formatting a specific selection. Like my specific selection was the plot area, so yet another way of modifying specific parts of your chart. So let's say I want a pattern fill or gradient fill for my area, and you can change this lighter, and now I change my plotting area. I mean, you can make your charts look like paintings. I mean, the things you can do are unimaginable, and I'm sure you can do much better than I am doing right now. So you can change your color code again. I'm not gonna change it. I like it quite a lot right now. And of course, here is something that you can do to change your data. Okay, for example, I don't want to anymore see the I don't want to be able to see the musicals. Okay, I don't like musicals. I don't want to see these. So I can get rid of the musicals even from the filtering part of the chart, and without having to choose the series or anything else. I can use the select data option, and as you may have seen before, switch rows to columns, switch again to just be able to see different weeks. I can edit the different series or remove a specific week, and then of course I can cancel because I didn't really want to remove week number 1. So that's another option of now changing the data. As you can see now, it's not painting anymore, it's data modification. However, if let's say, for example, I got rid of the musicals, as you can see in the Excel spreadsheet, the musicals row is not deleted. This is an important thing. Okay, I may want to change my chart, but I don't want to lose my data. So I'm going to go to these filtering values and change my chart through these filtering values, or select data and then use even more values, but definitely not by deleting my data. My data is precious. Okay, I spent so much time to gather this to show my boss which movies it's worth buying. So here, as you can see, it's very easy to figure out which movies which genre is the most popular. Okay, drama and comedy are almost the same. So let's say you wanted to see a trend for a specific week. Let's say a week that drama seems to be getting worse than comedy and so on and so forth. You can use a trend line, and you can use, let's say, a trend line for week number 3. As you see, week number 3 is highlighted with yellow, and you can see here the trend line of week number 3. This is what we call also a type of predictions that we can derive from our charts. Now, do not imagine that this will substitute for a modeling class that you can take from the math department, or for a statistics class that can show you different models, or for even a scientific computing class that, and the research stuff that I'm teaching our students from the computing perspective. Okay, these are just, ballpark trends. Okay, you're not predicting right now. But if you'd like to do a little bit of forecasting, let's say for week number 3, you can have a forecasting that shows, yeah, indeed, week number 3 is going to keep going down. And as you can see, I have additional data in my series. I can always go and say, okay, I want to get rid of all of these lines, so I need to go to my series and get rid of this. Oh, I cannot find this. What do I do? Go to format and then look at the trend lines. I just want to get rid of that trend line, and I have just selected it, and now I can delete it, and I just hit delete. So now let me show this again, because you may not have realized what I just did right now. Okay, let's say I want to get rid of this linear projection right now, the trend line number 2. I could not possibly, for the life of me, select this trend line by clicking on this chart, because these 2 trend lines are 2 lines that fall one on top of each other. So if I go to format, current selection, and select the second trend line that I just added, now I can hit delete, and look the magic. The last trend line that I just added was a linear projection that was projecting that week number 2 is going to keep going down, week number 3 is going to keep going down. But the thing is that at this point, I got a very, very good way of selecting very specifically my data and deleting my trend line. Okay, so I love switching back and forth. So I'm going to go back and switch rows to columns. So, and I'm going to go back just for practice. You can do all these things with me and get rid of the trend line, because now it's no longer the trend line I wanted to use. And now I have week 1, week 2, week 3, and now I can look at a specific genre. Let's say I want to see how comedy and drama compare to each other by adding some trend lines and seeing what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and add a trend line for drama. Okay. And add another one. And I could even have a forecast for comedy. And then I can delete it. Oh, I can't select the drama. It's so dramatic. So I can go back to my current selection and just try to delete my current selection, current trend line. Yep, the comedy trend line is the one. No, it's not. As I can see, the 2 dots are not marking the proper part. So I want to delete the drama trend line. There we go. Delete, hitting delete. I just got rid of you, drama trend line. And now I want a linear forecast for my drama. Here we go. So as you can see, with these nice trend lines, you show to your boss that, yeah, indeed, I mean, people have less money or less free time, so they may the rentals of drama and comedy may have a decreasing trend. However, these are the top rentals. So maybe you should keep these going, or you should buy more movies. But you could also look at, let's say, the sci-fi and fantasy, which is one of my favorite genres, that, look at the linear sci-fi and fantasy. That seems to have a constant or even increasing type of trend line, so you could convince your boss to buy more sci-fi and fantasy movies. Please do that. I really like sci-fi and fantasy. Okay. So now, in our checklist, we've done so many things, okay? Going back to our objectives, we've looked at how to change the data source and structure, apply layouts, change different parts of our charts. Now, the only thing that select and format our different elements. The only thing that we didn't look at is the sparkline. Okay, the sparkline is a quite unknown part of charts. The sparklines are in the Insert tab. They are like additional charts that are summarizing a single row of data. You can use line, column, win or loss sparklines. I am going to use line sparklines, selecting a specific range of data that I want to use in my sparkline, and click OK. So now I can always undo that because maybe I want to insert my sparkline just for practice, only for the weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's a nice summary that you can have for your data, and you can also customize this summary by using marking the high and low point, change the style of your sparkline, change the colors, all of these different options. As you can see, extra tab. So that's another very nice option of little charts that you can have and visualize your data. Finally, printing. So going to the backstage, I want to see how this chart is going to print out. As you can see, I had just clicked just on the chart. So let me do this again, clicking on the chart, going to the backstage, print, I get a full page dedicated to printing my chart. I can change the orientation now. I like landscape better. Changing margins, all of these different things that you can do with a Word document, you can do it by printing your chart. You can always try to make the chart fit in one page by changing your margins, or by just, print selection, or try to make it fit to your page. So there's multiple options for printing your charts, not much different, but let's say I just now clicked on my spreadsheet, so if I go to backstage, print, as you can see, I'm not just printing my chart, I'm printing the whole worksheet. So, final trick, moving the chart to a different worksheet, like new worksheet, and then call it chart 1, gets the chart to take a whole worksheet. This is very presentable. You can even show this in the presentation, although I'll show you once we start using PowerPoint how you can copy paste your chart into a PowerPoint presentation. But as you can see here, you have a great visual if you want to do a quick presentation and move your chart to a separate worksheet. You can do that. So we've seen far too many cool things at this point. We've seen how we can use prediction lines, we've seen how we can move our chart, modify different parts of our chart, make our chart look like a painting. And at this point, I will leave you with this very good knowledge on charts, and we will recap with the magic tricks on charts in the next video.